Welcome to the very first episode of Chat with Jen and Porfiria. I'm your host, Jen.
And I'm your host, Porfiria.
And we are so excited to be here today to be filming our first episode for you guys.
And we're going to be talking about sex and marriage.
Oh, yeah.
And relationships.
Yes.
Because we some old married ladies.
Yeah, we are. Well, we're not that old, but
we some good.
But we have some experience. So our show is going to be all about our experiences as wives and entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, wives, and our sex life.
And sex.
We're going to be discussing a lot of sex on this show.
Yes.
So cover your ears.
Exactly. If you're squeamish or if you're not supposed to be having sex.
Squeamish? Wait a minute here.
I don't know. Sometimes things come out of my mouth, girl. Sometimes things come out of my mouth.
I don't know about that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So before we get started, let's introduce ourselves so they know who we are. So my name is Jen.
You said that like 2 times.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure you guys know my name.
No, I like that, though. I like that. Go ahead.
My company is called Jen's Journey, Inc. You can visit jensjourney.com. And I am a private chef. I am a holistic health coach, an urban farmer. I teach cooking classes, and I also have a media side to my company. I have a podcast and a cooking show, and I do a whole slew of things.
Yes. You're a Renaissance woman.
That's right, baby.
What you are. I'm Porfiria, Jen's co-host. So I have been blogging forever. I have a blog currently out called The Domestic Mommy, and I am a mom. I am an entrepreneur. I do almost everything. I'm like Jen, a Renaissance woman. I do almost everything, but I'm excited to be doing this and talking about this. And you'll hear more about me. I'll plug in more stuff later.
Yes, and you can also visit your website.
Yes, www.porfiriagomez.com, and you can visit your website at
jensjourney.com. So, let's get into the meat of things. Like we said earlier, we are talking sex and marriage in our very first episode. So we're going to go ahead and...
Because it's not talked about.
Yeah, it isn't talked about. And that's what we want this show to not only reflect who we are and what we do and our own life experiences, but we want to give the opportunity for you guys to communicate with us what you're thinking. So feel free to ask us questions, send us tweets. All the information is below where you can let us know what you're thinking and answer some of these questions that we're asking.
Yeah, because we definitely want to touch base and shine on it. 2014, there's so many divorces going on, and I was on a Twitter chat some months ago, and people were discussing why women don't want to get married these days. And these are topics that we need to just talk about because there's so many issues in marriages that people don't talk about, and we're here to, shed some light on that.
And we're not experts.
And the most important thing in marriage is sex.
We're not experts. We're talking from life experience.
Life experience,
yes.
Okay? 10 years of marriage here. And Jen, how long have you been married now?
3.5 years, but together 9.5.
Okay,
so.
3.5 years. So to you newbies out there, you newlyweds, she's got some info, and I got some stuff to talk about for those of you.
So
an old married lady like me.
Don't make that face, girl. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into our sex and marriage episode. Stay tuned. So we were thinking that in this episode, we're going to talk about sex and marriage. And what was the question?
There's always something fun to talk about.
Yeah,
sex.
It is always something. Sex
and marriage.
Okay,
Jen. Cold shower, Jen. The question somebody was saying to me was, can people still have a good relationship in a marriage if there was no sex? So if sex was completely out of it, can you still have a good marriage? I said no.
Well, wait. So there are people, there are people who are like Christopher Reeve. His wife stayed with him.
You don't think she was
even after? Well, I don't know. See, this is part of it.
But she was sick. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm sick, I ain't trying to do nothing. She was sick. Remember, she died shortly after him because she was suffering from cancer, wasn't she?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she died.
I just remember him. I'm sorry.
No, I know.
Okay.
Look, I
So
know.
let's just use that as an example. Not him, not them, but that kind of
because
example.
she was sick. She was
I don't
sick.
remember. I thought she was still alive. I'm sorry.
She was sick, Jen. We're not laughing at the situation.
Right. I can't remember.
But no, she was sick. She died shortly after. She died of cancer.
Okay.
And they left behind, I think they had 2 children. So let's not use that example.
Okay, so the example is if someone in the relationship gets hurt and they are not capable of having sex. So
one person's not capable of.
So what does the other person do? Does the other person masturbate all the time? Does it open the relationship to invite other people in to keep them? Because we're human. This is part of being human, having sex. I think. In my opinion, I think sex is important, and I think it's important in a marriage. I don't think a normal marriage without that stuff can survive.
No. You're saying no.
I'm saying that it cannot survive without sex.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, there's different levels of sex.
I mean, but
right?
some people say there's a spiritual connection.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, there's a whole big thing there. We got spiritual, friendship, companionship, and sex. So you need to have all 3 of those.
I agree with you, girl. But a lot of people will hate us and say no.
Okay, if you say no, that means you are not married. So if you are not married, then I don't want to hear it. Okay?
No, married women with Jen, let's look.
Okay,
we gotta
so if there's a married woman that's gonna come on here or tweet us and say that their marriage is surviving, they are delusional.
Look, I'm like you, girl. I'm like you. I don't think you can. I think it's incredibly hard to survive in a marriage without sex.
If you ain't having sex, somebody's gonna.
I think that helps with a lot of divorces. Now I'm getting a little biblical on you out there because that's my side of the world, but when you get married, your body literally belongs to your spouse and your spouse's body belongs to you. Like, I think you're always supposed to deliver when need be. People have urges and needs, and when need be, I think you're supposed to deliver. So, if one person is not delivering, I think it sometimes opens a door. As humans, we just have the urge to be with somebody. So I don't think a marriage would work. I think it would be so many negative problems.
Listen, here's the thing, right? But men, first of all, we'll talk about women too, but men. My experience is, if men are not having sex and they're backed up, you know what happens? They get anxiety.
They do.
They get upset very easily. They get very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
They get really annoying.
Yeah.
Okay? So one way to bring that down is to make sure that they have their regular release. Okay? Well, and that could be solo or that could be together. You know what I'm saying?
But if they don't do it, when it's solo, I think temptation. I think that,
when it's solo and it's too much solo, when it's like too much solo action going on, that's a problem too. I think it's okay to masturbate, male and female, but
just going in. But now you're today.
I'm just saying it is. I think it's okay. It's perfectly natural, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's part of life, you know? I mean, I don't have kids yet. She's got kids, and she got 3 boys.
I got 3 boys.
And I do not want to have that conversation.
I'm scared. The sheets. I can see the sheets now, Jen.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to have to break them in half. The sheets, the bathroom. God. My mother had 5 boys, and she was like, the bathroom times,
Oh, God.
I don't even want to think about it.
We have these urges. From when I was a little kid, I didn't know what it was, but we have it. It's part of human nature.
Okay.
So, but yes, in marriage.
Okay.
I'm treading off. In marriage.
Look at Jen telling us our life story. But in marriage.
No.
In marriage.
Okay, sorry.
In marriage, can a marriage survive?
Right. No.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. I'm concerned because people need that physical contact. And I'm not just talking about the guys. Women too. Women need that physical contact. They need that. They need to feel wanted and needed. We yearn for that.
Right.
And sex is not necessarily internal. I don't think it has to do women men for women it's more emotional. It's more having that urge to be wanted and needed. That's what I think women have.
Mm-hmm.
And women need that just as much as a man needs to feel that
It's more physical. They're more
that
physical.
physical with a woman. I think men and women both have the same level of needs when it comes to that. And in the marriage, now we're not talking about marriages that are over here and over there. Like everybody's involved in a marriage and you going over here to do your thing. I'm talking about two people that are physically connected in love and made an oath to each other that they're going to be with each other.
Right.
If one of them can't provide that, then can the marriage survive? I think the marriage would take a large toll. I think that may not be the reason they break up, but it would help assist in smaller things that could lead to a breakup because of those needs and those urges.
Yeah, that frustration of not having sex or not being physical with each other will lead into other things, right? It'll meld into other things. So if they are not being physically active together, then when you don't wash the dishes, one day that's going to blow up into something bigger.
Could blow up into
all
something.
these little stupid things that happen when two people live together
and then
becomes bigger issues.
Yeah, human nature, we know that you see people, men and women, no matter how they want to say it, I think men, and nowadays especially, I think it's just what's happening. Women see attractive men see attractive women. Mm-hmm. And it's just the nature of law. It's like who can control it right now? Who can stay committed to somebody else? So there's constant temptation. It's always constant temptation.
Definitely.
And anything you love and want, there's always going to be a constant temptation for you not to get what you love and you want. So I think battling that and then two people are not really connecting, I think it's really going to...
Right. And in the moment that if you are in that situation and the moment someone that you are attracted to comes to you and tries
Temptation. Have you ever saw the movie Temptation?
I never saw it.
No, it wasn't a Temptation with Tyler Perry. I heard it was good. I never saw it. We need to watch that
I know.
together.
We need to get up on our movies.
But I know that a lot of women will cut us. I mean...
Why?
Because a lot of people don't feel like that, Jen. A lot of people feel like they could make a... There's
live
other
in a
things,
sexless marriage.
A sexless marriage. They feel as though there's other things.
That's not a marriage. That's a friendship.
Yeah, but what if something happened? Let's say,
Let's
God
marry
forbid,
someone to give him a green card.
Jen, no, come on. Seriously,
Okay.
What if something happened?
Right.
Okay, what if you couldn't deliver? So then what? You've been together many moons, and something happened and you can't do.
Well, that's what I was talking about with the Christopher Reeve example. What do you do in that situation? Like I said, masturbate.
So then you're saying you could have a sexless marriage because you're saying, okay, the other route is for you to get friendly with yourself.
With yourself, but here's the thing: you could get friendly with yourself in front of that person. Maybe they can't physically do something, but you are.
No, you're torturing your spouse by enjoying yourself, and they can't enjoy you.
But how do you know they want to enjoy it?
But see, now I'm thinking, okay, now the wheels are turning because I'm wondering too. I mean, I would not want my husband to leave me if I couldn't perform anymore.
But then there's some relationships where people understand that, okay, I can't do this anymore.
So then
I am okay with you stepping out and having another relationship as long as you come back to me.
Because then that causes more jealousy problems, and it causes more issues because you're God forbid paralyzed or your organs are not working, whatever the situation may be, and your spouse is stepping out and having a good old time with somebody else. Then that starts more. So eventually, there's still moments of leading to breakup.
Right. I don't know. I feel like they're two different things, right? Let's keep it on a normal, both people can have function, relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking more about one person just doesn't want to do it and the other one does. Now, we're not talking about physical, like, sickness or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that can be super complicated.
Yeah,
there's so many different levels. There's so many different things. Mm-hmm. And I do know that there are things that can be done for people who may not be able to perform certain things. So we could make that a whole nother conversation.
Okay, we'll make that a whole nother conversation.
So we're just going to talk about two people who are physically okay to do it.
But one person doesn't have the urge to do it. And another person has an urge to do it.
So in that case, I do not think that it can survive.
It will not survive. It will not. It will not.
It won't.
It will not. I'm telling you, it will not
and
survive.
let me just say something really quick. I'm not going to name any names, right? But there are certain people that I know who are in relationships and live together, not married, but live together.
No, we're talking about marriage.
I know, but I mean, this can go into that too. I'm just talking about people that I know in conversations, whatever. But they are not married, and one person is not communicating that they're not happy sex-wise.
You have to communicate.
You have to communicate, otherwise you will stray. And I think that is what the main issue usually is, sex-wise. Someone is not communicating.
It's such a taboo today. First of all, nobody really talks about it. As crazy as this world is nowadays, nobody honestly just comes out and talk about it. I'm shocked to know that people who are married don't sit down with their spouse and just have that open conversation about their love life, their sexual activities. I'm shocked.
Me too.
I'm shocked.
Because me and my husband, we don't hold anything back.
I'm quite sure No, but me and my husband, we have that understanding. I feel like if you're going to stay with somebody, first of all, marriage it says till death do you part. If you took those vows, they said sickness is health, death to blah, 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 blah. So if you in it to win it and in it to stick to it, you should be able to be naked, physically, emotionally, everything in front of this person that you committed to for the rest of your life.
That you say is your best friend.
So then that conversation should take place. The conversation should be over, get your little bottle of wine. Here I go with my wine. But get your little bottle of wine and sit there and say, okay, well, this is how I like to be touched, or this is what I enjoy doing, or did you ever wonder about this? That should be the person you let your hair down with so that you have a better understanding. And I know people who don't have these conversations with their husbands. And I'm like completely shocked. How do you not have this conversation with your husband?
Some people are shy, which is weird.
Shy in the marriage.
About what?
Well,
you got to be able to wipe this person's butt if they are sick one day. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm That's what I'm talking
and if you can't do that,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then what you doing?
I don't know. This is conversations you have to have with your spouse. You have to know what's going on, because that is such a connection. That is such an important aspect of the marriage, because, when you're stressed out after a long day of work, or when things are just not going right, or whatever, this person is your person that you lean up on. This is supposed to be your backbone. This is supposed to be your support system. So you may need that to get through. You may need that tender, loving care, or that freaky McNasty care from your spouse. And he or she needs to be able to communicate that to you on how, when, whatever. So these conversations have to take place. They have to happen. It should not be something secret, or with anybody else, I could understand. I'm not going to go deep in my secrets with my co-host here, but
on air.
But these conversations should happen. Really.
I agree. 100%.
I cannot believe that people are not having these conversations. And how should it start, though? Give me an example. Help somebody out there that does not know. For me, get a bottle of wine, sit down, put the kids to bed. If you ain't got kids to bed, clean the house, get everything nice and neat, sit down and just have an intimate conversation with your spouse. How would you do it?
I would do the same thing. Like, so if I was having this issue with my husband, like when he comes home from work, he's tired and, drained. So I want to have a nice meal out, something really romantic going, sit him down and then say, I love you and I love everything about this relationship and I want to always continue to do things to make it better. And right now I feel like, we are lacking in this area. And I really want us to work on it. And here are some ideas. And pull up
what if he says to you, I don't want to hear your ideas. I don't want to have this conversation right now. Then what? Because there's always someone out there. Then what?
If he doesn't want to have that conversation, then I would say, okay, well, I just want you to think about this. And then when do you want to talk about it? When would be a good time for you to talk about it?
Right now. Talk about it. You rip his pants off and talk about it while you're getting... Take that out! Take that out!
No, if they are uncomfortable with talking about it at the time, you have to let them know exactly what you're feeling and give them time to process it and come back to you. Now, if they're taking forever to do it, then you got to be assertive about it. You have to have that conversation no matter how uncomfortable it is, I think.
Well, I don't understand how people don't have that conversation.
I don't understand
When did you have your conversation?
From day one. Listen, the thing with me is that I know what I want in every thing of life. From is my man, to my sex, to my business, to me getting this burger after I leave.
I want an empanada.
So I know what I want. So I am that person that is very much like, I can be confrontational and I want to lay it all out on the table and make sure we're on the same page. So from day one, we've always had good communication.
I decided to have that conversation early on too. It was like, it just happened. I mean, this was a person that I was really vibing with and connecting with, and I knew this was going to be my husband, and I just said it early on. And I think I restated it after we got married about what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it. I didn't say, okay, we're going to do, dot for dot, but it was a conversation because this is the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, and I want to enjoy him, and I'm quite sure that he wants to enjoy me. And I think when people say that they're not having relations or whatever in their marriage, I'm like, how dry? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I agree. The other thing, so, you asked me when did we have this conversation. Like, we did have these conversations from the beginning, but in every relationship, you have those really hard questions, those really hard feelings that you don't know how to communicate, and it's just really difficult. So with us, and I know with other couples that I know, we've had nights where we stayed up all night talking. We would not go to sleep until we spoke. We laid it out on the table, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many tears. We sat there and talked it out until we came to an understanding or a compromise. And early on in our relationship, maybe after a year, and we noticed things were getting serious, there was like a year straight where that was happening multiple times a week.
The conversation.
Yeah, he would come to my place. We would have to go to work in the morning, and we would be talking from 7 p.m. at night until 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, letting it out, like, this is who I am. And, if there's something I said that I did that he didn't like or vice versa, we talked it out. We came to an understanding, and that's how we got to understand each other and what our needs were.
I think that's what helps a lot of relationships, but a lot of people don't do that.
Because they're afraid of that. They're afraid of what they're going to hear. They're afraid of people telling them about themselves.
But, yeah, and that's the scary part, too. That's a good point. You have to be prepared for what you're going to hear. You have to be prepared for what you're going to hear. If you don't, and maybe some people, maybe they just don't want to know. They don't want to hear it, so they don't have these conversations with their spouses on what they want or what they want to do. But I think, when you've been married, your sex life goes through stages.
Yes, it does.
It's constantly changing. The stuff that used to get you off in the beginning of your marriage,
your body's changing.
6 years, it doesn't get you off the same way.
Yeah.
But you won't know that. So you rather lay lay in bed with somebody and they're doing some dry nonsense
that you don't like, that's not doing anything for
instead of
you.
just saying, look, let's have a little conversation here.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it doesn't have to be a conversation. Sometimes it could be nonverbal. Sometimes if there's something happening and
But
you don't like it,
some men need to.
well, you got to know your man.
But some men don't know. Even if you know your
But that's
man.
why
Do
you
think
direct
he'll
them.
remember?
That's when you become a director in the bedroom.
Yeah, but then what if he don't remember? Then you gotta always direct.
Well, that's all right. Until in anything in life, things have to be repetitive.
Last week, the script should have been
First of all,
memorized last week.
No,
okay.
but men in general, they don't remember anything anyway.
So
I don't want to generalize and say that all men are.
I gotta put a post-it right here. Is this what you want? Post it. Post it. Remember, not the bottom, but the top. Okay, not the ear.
Take the hand and put it there.
Yeah, but
take the head and put it there.
Hands.
That's okay. You just keep it sensual.
Get your script
keep
together.
Sexy.
Get your script together. But I think get your script together. But it should be a conversation.
It should be a conversation, but you do have to repeat yourself.
Get the script.
You
together.
do.
You should.
You have to. You got to repeat yourself too. I've been with my husband for 9.5 years, and he still can't remember when to take the garbage out.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta keep telling him and reminding him.
Jen. I leave it right there. The house, it be flies, bugs, everything coming out.
I can't leave it. Eventually, I have to go and take it out if he doesn't, and then I have to let him know.
I don't take it out. You take it out, Jen?
No, I take pictures with my phone and I text it to him.
I leave that.
Or I'll print it out and put it on his computer. And sometimes I don't say anything. I just do certain things.
What's that smell? I'll be like, that garbage you forgot to take out. Take out the garbage.
See, we all gotta, do certain things. Everybody's different, right? So for me, I gotta do text and pictures to remind his butt. You just leave it and
I don't see
let him suffer.
But I think, just going back to what we were touching on, you should have.
We went all over the place with it.
We did go all over the place with that. But it's just one important. I think we're just staying on the meat of what we're talking about. Why do I always say meat? I don't know.
I think that's what you want right now, since we're talking about sex and marriage.
Nasty.
All right, guys.
Nasty.
Okay, so tell us what you think. Do you think a marriage can survive without sex? Send us a tweet and let us know.
Send us a tweet. Talk to us and. We would love to also Facebook us. Jen is on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. And we'll definitely leave that below for you to check out.
Yeah. All the info to contact us will be below. So that concludes our show. We went off on several tangents, but I think we got our points across.
I think we did.
Hopefully.
I think we did.
So thanks for tuning in to chat with Jen and Porfiria. We will be back. We'll be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
all
Tumblr, everywhere. We're everywhere. We have our own things everywhere. Everything will be below.
Jen, what's your website?
My website is jinsjourney.com, jinsjourney.com.
And mine is Porfiria Gomez, the domestic mommy. So it's actually www.porfiriagomez.com. And you will definitely see that below. And we will definitely be we have our YouTube channels that we also want you guys to go and check out as well. So that will be there for you to enjoy. Yeah.
So I enjoyed our very first episode.
I did.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're going to sign out. And again, my name is Jin.
And I'm Porfiria.
And until next time, guys.